Kylie, what do you say to the girls after that one?
It's a tough one. Really tough conditions out there. Really tough game. Obviously, there's a lot of disappointment in the sheds at the moment. These girls probably feel it. I don't need to say too much in regards to how they're feeling. They are all pretty upset, pretty disappointed. I think the game was there for us to take in several different stages. It didn't happen. That's footy. Like in hindsight, it's great for the first series to go to a decider up in Townsville.
You sort of touched on it there, but I guess is it a strange one to reflect on in the moment because you were so dominant for such long stretches of that game?
Yeah, it is. So it's the hard bit about being a coach is that you sit up and watch and see how dominant they are, and we'll touch on. We touched at a half time that there was times that we didn't execute and take opportunities when we should have. But, all credit to Queensland. They just kept fighting. I thought once Tiana had scored that try that we sort of got back on top. But to their credit, they kick off and get the footy back and then just got on top of us again. So, as I said, that's footy. We'll go back and look at what we need to look at and reset ourselves and rebuild for Townsville. But, this team is definitely suited to a drier track. I think the conditions really allowed Queensland to bring Queensland back into the game. So,
just like to steal that one-on-one, steal that could have turned the game, or that could have been the moment to win it for you. What can you say about her performance?
Jess, she was out there. You've seen her. She was buckled, but she got that head knock and went off. She had a really bad cork in one leg, and then she got a cork in her other leg. But she just kept fighting and she refused to come off, and that's Jess. But for her, she got that one-on-one steal. I'm pretty sure we scored off the back of that. So that's a game changer, and that's what Jess does for us. And, if Jess is telling me that she's okay, I'll leave her out there until she can't walk.
Is she in any doubt that they came through?
Nah, she just got some corks. Good luck me trying to stop her from playing game 3.
They hurt.
When her and Jess went up together, she looked like pretty worse for wear and quite sheepish on that leg. What's the...
So she also got a cork.
Right.
So they both got corks in that one when they were going for that catch, that leap, and I think they might have corked each other probably. But yeah, they were in all sorts on that right edge at one stage. I didn't know who was going to come or who was staying, and they were both limping. But as I said, both to their credit, they both fought, and they were both. I think everyone was really outstanding. I'm really proud of their effort. I said the conditions didn't suit us, unfortunately. We were on top at times. We didn't execute and take opportunities when we should have. But that's what we'll go back and look at and build for Game 3.
I think yesterday you said the game would be won or lost in that final 15 minutes. Is that now a massive focus point going into Game 3?
Yeah, it will be. I think the frustrating thing for me as a coach is that we were so dominant probably for the majority of that game, and then we just allow Queensland to get back in and top, and then they, Lauren Brown, her being on the field, I knew that that's what they'd be setting up. I could see it for plays beforehand, and, she's just so good at that kicking and nailing that field goal. So, as I said, great for the game. It's 1-1, and we get to go back to work and get up to Townsville and try and get the Shield up in Queensland. We've seen you play better up in Queensland anyway.
And in Townsville.
Don't go so great in our own state. So,
Kezzy, what were those conditions like on the field?
Yeah, it was very wet. As you could probably see, even with our kicks, the ball would sit up a lot, and you could see some of the girls slipping over when they try to run fast. And yeah, definitely, I feel played into their hands. And credit to Queensland. Obviously, they just hung in there as they do. We always know that they're a tough side, and they'll never give up, and they'll just keep fighting to the end. And as they did, and got the win.
There was that, especially in the last kind of 20 minutes. There was quite a lot of pressure on the line, and a lot of the girls were able to lock that down. What do you say about the defensive effort tonight despite the result? Yeah,
they were tough, and the girls did really well in working hard for each other. Just a few laps in moments, and probably not as aggressive as probably we need to be close to the line, especially when Taryn's running sideways. So we can take a lot of positive things out of tonight's game, but just fix up a few things. And it's exciting for the game to be a 1-1 series draw, and then we've got the decider. So obviously last year that was it for us, and then so this year it's worked out really well that we get that third game for that actual decider.
Kezzy, despite the conditions, it was another record crowd tonight. Can you tell us about running onto that stadium tonight?
Yeah, it was really special. We were really lucky to warm up in it as well and sort of get a feel for the crowd. And there was just a lot of people at warm up, and you could just hear everyone there. And it was very special to run out for the first time as well. Once we got to do the anthem and things like that, it was really special. You were standing directly in front of our family, so we could see that as well. And yeah, the roar was unbelievable, and it was brave for them to come out in these conditions. So yeah, very happy that we got to play here. Obviously, the result wasn't how we wanted, but that's footy, and we get to go again in a couple of weeks.
Obviously, I want to continue on from that, kind of with the record crowds and everything, like women's origins with Canberra, Townsville, Newcastle. What do you love about kind of, getting to play in kind of venues, not just capital cities, I guess, all over the place? Yeah,
it's exciting that for our women's game to be growing and fans loving our game and wanting to come and support us, and that's what we want. We want more people to come and support us at our games and actually buying tickets and getting bums on seats. So hopefully Townsville can be another record and a sellout up there, and we can be a great game for women's rugby league, and to have 1-1, and then that's going to be a genuine decider. So can't wait for next couple of weeks and to rip in and do it all again. Go back in camp, it's the best.
Kezzy, obviously you got the win up in Townsville last year, but how much does it still sting of the Maroons still celebrating up there and sealing the series last year and going back up there and going for redemption?
Yeah, obviously every time that we play against each other, we want to win, and last year was just really unfortunate how it ended, and I'm not going to lie and say that doesn't still sting and still hurt that that we lost last year's series. That's just me personally, and I'm going to be doing everything that I can in these next couple of weeks to make sure that I'm prepared as best as possible, and I know all the girls will as well, because tonight's not how we wanted it to go, and I know there's a lot of disappointed girls in that change rooms. Everyone's very, very down and very hard critics on themselves, and especially in front of our home fans as well. So I think we'll regroup and get back together and reflect and work out what went right, what went wrong, and get to do it all again.
Carly, you spoke a bit about that moment from Jess stealing the ball. What else specifically did you like about that performance, and hopefully what to take away?
Oh, we spoke about our defence. Like, our defence is outstanding. The girls just kept turning up for each other. And there was a couple of, Taryn running across, a bit of a lapse of concentration there. But other than that, our defence, we just kept turning up and pushing them out. So that's a massive bonus. It was a big priority as well for us to keep an eye on Tamika. I thought we controlled her really well tonight as well, knowing that she'd want to be here at Newcastle and have a big game. So a lot of positives, as I said. But for me as a coach, it's also an opportunity to look at the things we can be better in and the areas we can be better in. And I'm sure these girls will take that on board and put it into action when we get to Townsville.
You stuck with the same team going into game 2, probably going to get the same for game 3, or do you look to make changes?
Early days, but I don't. I thought everyone was out. There's no one that I wasn't happy with in their performance. I thought everyone did their job really well. At the moment, yes, unless there's injuries or I see something different on the video.
Kylie Koenig again, outstanding.
Yep.
Where can her game go?
Yeah, she's just starting now. She's transferred from that back row into the middle. Obviously she's just a great ball player, as I spoke about in the press conference yesterday, that I said to her the first time I met her and played with her that she was a halfback stuck in a front rower's body, and she's just so smart, but she controls her middle so well. We had, our bench of Grace and Sarah coming on, and she just controls them really well. But yeah, she's awesome. She had a bit of a stitch there. We had to give her a bit of a break before half time, but got her out there pretty quickly.
What about Caitlin Johnson? That hit on, I think it was Ronnie. It was, one for the ages. What did you make of her performance?
Well, that's Caitlin. We all know, she does it. I think she does it week in, week out at the NRLW level. And I know she wanted to have a really good performance tonight, being here at home, and meant a lot to her. So, I thought she was great as well. Defensively, she was awesome. As I said, the weather and the conditions probably played more into them. We probably didn't play. We like to play a bit of an expansive and throw it around a little bit. We sort of had to tighten it up a little bit, which, we don't like to, but with those conditions, it sort of tightened it up a lot. So they'll be ready and raring to have redemption in Townsville in a few weeks' time, and especially as we've mentioned, the memories of Queensland celebrating after it was a 1-1 draw last year. So as I said, we seem to play better in warmer weather, so.